I'm gonna be straight with you on this one. I've got a baby coming any day now. He could already be here by the time you see this.
The baby's on the way!
So I can't dedicate the 20 or more hours I do creating these weekly videos and do individual videos on each of these big attachments. So we're gonna cover them all in one video. The lap pull down low row, which is a good space-saving budget alternative to a dedicated unit. The seal row pad, which is my favorite thing I've got on this loaded rack. And the sliding lever arms, which even though I'm not really a fan of lever arms, I have to admit they can add a lot of versatility to your workouts. If you want more information on Bell's other attachments for this rack or my thoughts on the quality of this rack versus Titan, Rep, and Rogue, then check out our original Hydra review, which covers how well this rack aligns to Rogue's Monster Lite line. It's a copy. As always, in an effort to be honest and upfront in my videos, I'd like to thank Bells for sending me all of this and apologize for shoving everything into one video. Technically, Bells has added more accessories to their lineup since our last video on them, like the split squat attachment, and while they haven't caught up with Rogue with their extensive and innovative lineup with things like a stick or a hand, or even these wheels, so you can do 6 skate tricks with your rack. I realize some of you are here because you're wondering how well this stuff will work on a Rogue Monster Lite rack, or if you can put Rogue stuff on a Bells rack. And suffice it to say, they should be swappable, but I'll mention specifics for each as I cover them. And if you're interested in any of these attachments, I've linked them in the description. Let's start off with Bell's sliding lever arms. And I'm sure they're gonna be really happy when I say, I don't really like lever arms. I put them alongside standalone GHDs and reverse hypers, things that are very useful and nice to have, but often end up collecting dust, getting in the way, and taking up valuable real estate. So much like with a trap bar, sure, I'll show you a bunch of fancy clips on how you can, but probably will never use these things. Just make sure you don't mistake my honesty for helping you save money, because I'm sure my long-term subs have wives that are probably just as excited as mine when another package gets dropped off. So I'm gonna lay out my issues with lever arms and then talk about how well these work, because they are a good value pick and can be a great way to add versatility to your home gym if you can get over the faults all lever arms share. And versus a lot of other options out there, these are probably your cheapest solid choice. So if you came here thinking spending over $1,000 on Rogue's 50 cal trolleys sounded like a bad idea for your marriage, then these very well may be for you, because they will fit on a Rogue Monster Lite rack. There's 2 main issues with lever arms. One, they take time to set up and adjust. And anything that takes me more than a few seconds to set up during a workout just isn't going to work for me. Now, if you have more patience than a 4-year-old, unlike myself, that might not be an issue, but when I'm in here bumping to Taylor Swift, that's right, I said it, I don't want to stop to figure out the proper angle and handle position to make something work. The second major issue I have is with their weight. At 61 pounds, these things aren't exactly easy to move vertically along the upright. I did find that locking the arms straight outward makes the process easier, but it still takes some strength, and I almost always set these up for Winnie. It's not that she couldn't manage, she's a monster, but these probably aren't something your wife is going to enjoy adjusting. If those issues don't bother you, then you'll find these to be pretty well done with all the features you'd expect, and probably a few more for the price. With 7 adjustable arm angles, though I do wish they had drilled 1 more set of holes here, because with this as your starting angle for something like incline press, it's a little high, and starting way down here can be a little awkward, but there's still a lot of ways you could use these, and they're rock solid. So if you want to use them for shrugs, then go for it. Or you can even block them in at different angles and do pull-ups. I've got Rogue's adjustable pull-up bar here, but Bells makes a cheaper version, and that's what we've been using since Winnie keeps yelling at me for buying tall racks, but I don't listen, so my compromise was obviously to do this with the third rack. They can also be stored up and out of the way so you won't feel as bad when they collect dust, since you won't even notice them up there, but you can still use them to post really cool looking pics online, and isn't that what really matters? Speaking of not getting in the way, they can be locked in place like this and just left there, which is often what I do, and I use them like a normal upright for things like overhead press. The laser cut numbers along the arms help keep adjusting the height of the multi-grip handles a little simpler, and since everything on this rack is 3 inches by 3 inches with 5/8 inch holes, you can actually pull the handles and put them on your rack for things like pull-ups, and creative people with a lot more free time than me have come up with all types of crazy ways to utilize these things. At this point, you're probably thinking, does he really like these or hate them? Well, I said I don't really like lever arms. Some people swear by them and love all the things they can bring to your workouts in a relatively small package. So if the value they bring to your space makes sense for you, then who cares what anyone else thinks? And these do have a solid build quality, especially when compared to everyone else's options, which are all pretty much more expensive. I do wish they were a little lighter, and while the steel rollers work well, and I haven't seen them wear down the rack, if you're super OCD like me and squint at just the right angle when the sun is at exactly 43.8 degrees, you can see the faintest mark where the rollers ride up the side of the upright, and I wonder a bit after years of use what they'll do to the finish. I say that, but I've moved these well over 100 times and I actually never noticed the marks, but it's something to note and may show on a colored Monster Lite rack. Next, let's take a look at the lat pull down low row, but as always, I didn't really think of the camera, so I'm just gonna awkwardly walk up to it. Would you look at that seamless transition? This is an item that can add a lot of variety to your workouts, as any good cable system should. And this, much like Titans or Reps plate-loaded versions, these are space-saving budget alternatives to a stand-alone machine. When added to the back of your rack, this is going to add about 4 inches to its height and 35 inches to its footprint when loaded with 45s, though with a 6-post, you could mount it to these middle posts and save some more space that would be a little tight for your spotter. When compared to a standalone unit like Bell's Lat Pulldown, which we've got a review coming up on, so subscribe so you don't miss out on that, well, that's going to take more than twice the space and cost more than 3 times what this does. And even against space-saving options like Reps Aries, which we reviewed and really liked as it added a ton of functionality to a rack, well, that cost 5 times what this does. This is essentially a rear stabilizer, some guide rods, and a top assembly with some pulleys that allow you to add the capabilities of a lat pull down and low row to your rack. And after you have the essential pieces of your home gym, I think some type of cable system is a great addition, as they allow you to perform movements without really hindering the capabilities of your rack. And perhaps the most interesting thing about this is it'll fit on a Rogue Monster Lite rack, which Bells confirmed in the comments of our Hydra review and have also stated in the FAQ on their site. And it makes sense because even though this is an imported rack, it's a true 3-inch by 3-inch rack rather than a metric 3 inches like Reps PR 4000 or 5000 or the Titan X3 or Titan series, which are actually 2.95 inches with slightly different hole spacing as well. The low and high pulleys use the same weight, so if you wanted to superset something like lat pull down with curls or lat push down with curls, or hell, maybe even curls with curls, well, it's pretty simple since you don't have to swap things around like with a single pulley system. Unfortunately, these type of attachments, like many of us, do have a problem with pulling out, and you can't do something like overhead tricep extensions or face pulls with this because the cable would rub on the cutout of the top cross member here, which would wear down your cable. But if you're creative, you can probably find ways around some of those exercises. For example, you could perform face pulls while lying down on a bench. It comes with this straight bar, which is really nothing special, just a hollow bar with these rubber grips and a welded attachment point, which means when using it for things like curls, it doesn't rotate freely. Luckily, if you decide you need to upgrade, Bells has some upgraded cable attachments, or you can attach stuff from other companies as well, and I've been able to connect all of the accessories I've tried on this thing. I even managed to get my stainless steel Rogue lap bar to work on it, and yes, I realize the irony of attaching a $200 bar to this, but it worked, though the bar's a bit wide and the plate storage got in the way, so it didn't work particularly well. Though with a 4-post setup, or with this moved forward, that wouldn't really be an issue. It also comes with a leg bar to help keep you in place during lap pull downs, and a lap pull down bar that, much like the straight bar, really isn't anything special, but if special costs $200, maybe that doesn't really matter. There's also, I believe, 2 lengths of chain that it comes with, but around here, who knows where these came from, and they allow you to mount the attachments at whatever point is most comfortable for your height, or to extend the cables a bit if you need a little more space to work, though I haven't really found the amount of cable travel to be an issue, but if you've got an 8-year-old who likes to test equipment with you, then maybe you'll max it out. Maybe I should stop making fun of cardio and actually do it, because I'm getting a little bit winded filming this. Overall, the movement on this is fairly smooth with a 1-to-1 pulley ratio, and with these aluminum pulleys and a lifetime warranty, this isn't something I'd really worry about having to replace, but it's what I'd qualify as a home gym quality item. What I mean by that is it doesn't quite match the rest of the rack's kind of overbuilt, almost commercial quality feel, but at this price shipped, you have to adjust your expectations a bit, and I'd say it's a good budget addition to a home gym, and on the same level as Rep's version, which are both a bit more refined than Titan's. All right, let's talk about my favorite attachment for this rack, and that's the seal row pad, but I need to move the camera again. I've been using this constantly since we got it, and my only complaint about it is I wish the 1-inch version for the Manicore rack we revealed in our Bells interview was out already. This is Bell's budget version of Sorinex's Bulldog pad, but it sells at less than half the price, making it a much easier purchase to justify. There's really not a whole lot to these things. It's just an adjustable arm, and this one locks into 7 different positions, and as long as you make sure you get your pin into this second hole in the rear here, it'll allow you to do a lot of exercises that you can probably do without one, but it always seems like it's an awkward workaround to figure out how. The nice thing about this is it doesn't take up much space, but still opens up options for your workouts and should fit on any 3x3 rack with 5/8-inch holes. Though if you want a really tight fit on your uprights, you may have to shim or sand the UHMW, depending on your rack's finish or manufacturer. I've worked this into a lot of workouts, be it back day with rows, both with dumbbells and a barbell, spider curls for arms, which I've been doing 21s with a lot lately. I've tried chest flies on it, and incline bench, even rear delt raises, just all kinds of movements. And this attachment is definitely something that's going to get a lot of use around here, and it's even become my son's favorite seat. If you're looking for a compact, versatile piece to add to your home gym, I gotta say, I really like this, but Bells, just make sure on the 1-inch version, you put some UHMW or something here so my son stops smashing it into my rack. If you enjoyed this video, check out our Hydra review right here. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe to help us on that algorithm. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.